Awesome now. Yeah, we're good to go. We're live. Sweet, sweet. Well, here I have Sebastian Martinez with me on the second episode of the BPM podcast. Thank you so much, Sebi, for coming out and joining us here. Really appreciate your time and everything.
Of course, brother.
Just a little bit about Sebi here. He's actually a full-time day trader. He's the gentleman that actually got me into day trading, me into crypto, and to investing instead of just having all of my cash sitting in my bank depreciating like crazy. This man has educated me a lot on how to actually take control of my money and make my money work for me outside of my bank account, which is really, really nice. And I appreciate that. It's given me a lot of liberties and freedom with my finances. So I have a huge debt to this gentleman right here. So I really appreciate you, Seb, and everything you've done for me. Yeah, and you're actually leading a trading group as well. You were educating some other people as well with your platform and what you were doing. So just for people that actually don't know much about you, is there anything else I missed other than that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I guess I'm not really teaching people how I trade. I'm more so just like showing them the people that I learned from. And that's just kind
Yeah,
of like that's kind of what you did, man. It's just like you can show as many people as you want, but like there's only a select amount of people that will actually like study it and like learn it. And like you're obviously one of those people and having a lot of success. And yeah, it's just awesome to see you killing it, man. Very proud of you.
thanks, brother. Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate everything you've done for me, man. Like, we've actually known each other, I think, for a little bit longer than I think we've seen each other through out and about. Like my background and everything is with more the entertainment and the nightclub industry, and same with yours as well, right? Like that's where you kind of started, I guess, your career as a young adult. But I remember seeing you here and there. You were managing, I think it was Knoxville's at the time, and I would always see the parties that you and your partner there would always throw. You guys are just throwing ragers all the time. It actually, a lot of what you guys were doing there in your marketing schemes and how you were throwing your parties actually influenced how I was running Diablo's Den out in Vancouver. So that was a lot of fun doing that stuff with and learning from you. But I always saw you around. Never really said hi too much. I think you bought us a couple of shots here and there because you would always come around and just be a friendly
That
face
sounds
like you
great.
always are. So, but just for people out there that don't actually know anything about day trading, like Forex, nothing like that, like how could you break that down simply for these people?
Basically, the easiest way that I explain what Forex trading is basically just buying buying and selling the world's currencies. And those world's currencies, like a currency never stays the same amount throughout the day. It's always moving up and down. And we make money on those up and down movements, whether it's going, to new highs or to low lows. We're able to capitalize on those movements.
100%. Yeah. No, that's exactly it too. Cause like I have a lot of people that, cause what was it? It was right in the middle of the pandemic there when I lost my company, everything went under and just shit was really hitting the fan. I didn't have any work coming in, nothing like that. And it was actually pretty funny. Like you were kind of a saving grace that just kind of came in and be like, hey man, there's this cool opportunity that I'm doing. If you want to come check it out, like I'm hosting a webinar like tonight, and I went in and I actually fell in love with it. Um, I think it's a very versatile option for people with their finances that actually want to take control of their finances instead of having just investments sitting in there. Um, I know this is kind of going a little bit more in depth of like what you and I do, but we have that. I personally have the 2 to 3% rule every time I go into trading per day.
Yep.
Um, and that's what I do. And basically what that is just say I have $100 in my account. If I make $2 that day, I'm done. You know, that 2% was going to take me a long time. If you were able to compound that over a year's time, I'm not going to say any numbers, but I've had a huge amount of success that I've shared with you actually this previous year. It's given me and my family tons of opportunities and set us up for new business adventures and endeavors. But yeah, no, I think for me personally, it was just a way, like I said, to take total control of my finances where we had investments before where my wife and I, where we would just kind of give the bank X amount of sums. And then by the end of the year, it's like, oh, sweet, we made 4% this year, you know, like, and that was a good year, you know, on like some of those things where like,
Yeah.
and that's over an entire year of time, you know, like,
Crazy.
but, yeah, no, but also too, like, I think what people need to understand too about the Forex world is a lot of people are jaded, I find, you know, like if it's not, if it doesn't have to do with the bank and the banking system, then it's a scam or it's a Ponzi scheme or something like that. Like, how do you handle people that are kind of addressing that way?
Um, Matt, you know what? I used to get when I first started this, bro. I used to get really like upset. It would like ruin my day because I'm just like I'm it was so bad because like I guess I just didn't know how to handle it, and like I showed you probably like 3 or 6 months after I started, right? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, this is crazy. I need to show everybody. Um, but anybody that says that it's like it's a scam or a Ponzi scheme, like I just I guess I don't really give it the time of day. I'm just like, yeah, okay, all good, no worries, man. Like, take care. I hope whatever you're doing works out for
Yeah.
you, and I just kind of move on, and then eventually, you show 50 people this, and then you find somebody like you, where they'll just like see it and they'll understand it, and they'll just run with it, right? And what's crazy too is that like it is the information that you learned. It's like what you have now. Like nobody can take that away from you. You know how to look at the charts. You know how to do this stuff. You don't have to pay for anything anymore to understand what's going on. And it's just I think it's just when people say that it's just a scam or something like that, I think that it's just their way of protecting themselves of something that they don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, like charts are just like they're very scary to look at. It's not easy putting your money into stuff like that, and I think it's just for people to protect themselves in something that they don't understand. But then for me and you, like I'm the type of person, I know you're the type of person. If I see something like new that's great, that's doing well over there, I'm gonna put my time into this. I'm gonna go study this. I need to like
Yeah.
ask these guys questions, and like I
Hmm.
think that was the biggest thing that worked out for me was, and I think for you too, is that like whenever you're stuck somewhere, you just call somebody, you just be like, hey, what do I do here? And
Yeah.
it was just like an answer right away. That's I think that's where I got my most value out of it. But yeah, I think um
Yeah.
I think people just need to protect themselves, and
Hmm.
they only
Yeah.
do it that way.
I love the community that's like there and that is easily accessible. Like the way I like to describe it is vicious positivity. Like everyone's
Yeah.
there just to uplift each other. You go on any like I went on a couple of Reddit forums and stuff like that, and just once you get into like the actual niche of these people who actually love what they're doing, who are educated on what they're doing, who know what they're talking about, they're just so willing to teach everyone about this stuff, which I think is absolutely vital to what's going on, especially with our day and age and the depreciation of our assets and everything that's going on. I think it's an absolute skill set that everybody should at least learn about. I'm not saying it's going to be great for everybody because it won't be. It's definitely not. I don't advise this for everybody. It's a very select number of people, and if it's for you, awesome, all to you. It was great for me. It was great for you. So, but how did you get involved into this? Like, where were you before this, and then how did you get into this?
I was a finance manager at a dealership in Edmonton, North Edmonton, and and I knew I wasn't happy. I was depressed every single day. I hated my job. I started reading books every morning. I used to wake up an hour early every day. That was my first thing, my first discipline I ever did. Was I just woke up an hour early and I read for an hour before work. And as I started doing that, it just becomes like a cycle. And then I opened up like a marketing business, and then I tried to do Amazon FBA, and I was just putting all my time into these things. And I'm just like, okay, I need to get out of this fucking job. Um, so I was just I was looking, right? And I think if you're looking for something, it finds you, right? And it wasn't in the form of the marketing or the FBA. My buddy Tyler, oh yeah, like we were talking about like Knoxville's Tyler Palmer,
Yeah.
literally like he literally calls me one day, and I think we're having a party at the house or something, and oh no, he texted me. He's like, hey, I got to show you something. I'm like, okay, sure, what's up? He sends me this video of what he's doing. And as soon as I watched the video, it was like 8 minutes, and I called him right away. I didn't. I just called him. He didn't answer. I called again, and then he picked up this time. He's like, "Oh, you're eager, hey buddy." And I'm like, "Let's go. I don't need to see anything else. Where do I join? Like people are gonna teach me how to make money on charts. Let's
Yeah.
go. Like I'll take a look at it, and then you get into the academy, and then it's just like you said, man, like you have these people around you that are willing to help you, and there's it's a step by step process of the things that you need to know, and you just become obsessed. I just became obsessed, bro. Like I became obsessed with the idea of, taking a couple trades a day and just not doing anything else, and just like
Hmm.
go living your life. I mean, it still is, but that was the thing that got me going in the beginning. Whereas it's like if you could just understand something and learn something, then it could get you out of, the shitty job that you hate. And that's kind of how it all
100%.
started.
100%. Yeah, like I think we kind of had like similar stories in that sense where you kind of were hating what you were doing. I loved what I was doing before, but like I said, literally one morning I woke up and COVID hit, and I like look at my emails and I had 5 active contracts out in Vancouver. And like literally, bro, on the same day, I was like reading one email and it was like, we have to terminate our contract and everything like that. There's no longer like a partnership between us because they literally couldn't open the doors. And as soon as I finished reading that email, another email came in. Yeah, we have to terminate our contract, and another email. Man, my world felt like it was crumbling at that time. I was also in a very toxic relationship at that point in time too. So like a lot of shit was going on in my life that like just didn't feel like it was going for me. And like this is actually what saved me a lot of time. I was able to dedicate a lot of my time. And it's cool that you said you started reading every single day, because that's one thing that I am a firm believer on too. I've just picked up 2 new books after Christmas because we're in the new year right now, 2023. But yeah, and I read every single day now, and I just knowledge is wealth, man, and that's one thing that I think is like really set up for me is discipline, and just setting that time aside for myself to educate myself. And it could be on anything. Like before, when I was like heavy into trading every single day, I'm at a point now where I don't have to trade every single day. But that was my discipline, kind of going in, being like, Kate, I risk 2%, hope aiming for 5% type thing, So it's a lot of discipline in this spirit that way. But how was your journey originally trading? Did you instantly find success? Did you have to crash and burn a bit? Like what happened there?
It was a mixture. So okay, I just dive in. That's just how I am. My
Yeah.
first, like, I think it was less than 2 weeks of like studying. I put real money into an account. Everyone's like, yeah, wait a month, wait 2 months. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go put my money in this. I'm gonna figure this out.
I think I did
I
the exact same thing.
Yeah, I was just like, screw it. Like I need to see what it feels like. And well, so my journey it was very rough in the beginning. You're so eager to trade, you're so excited to like push the button, and you just do too much, right? I learned a lot of lessons in my first like month, right?
Yeah.
You just like you lose your account, you're like, okay, well that didn't work. let's try again. And then it wasn't, it's funny because where I started seeing more success, it wasn't the amount of knowledge that I had on the charts that was making me successful. It was how little I was trading that made me more successful. So
Yeah.
it was rough in the beginning. I started seeing a lot of success trading with Jay. He would go on every single morning at 6 a.m. and I would just copy his trades in the morning for an hour.
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3 straight months of just like killing it, like having like very minimal negative days, and the big days were the big days, man. Um, and then after having like 3, 4 months of consistency and doing really well, um, I started planning to like move to like Costa and stuff,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna get into
just
that after.
yeah, yeah, you're just like, and then you show somebody this, and they start having success, and then there's just like multiple streams of income coming in. It just kind of opened it up. Um, while we were in Costa Rica, the only incomes that we had, there was like there's 2 incomes that we had coming in. And I noticed that when I was in Costa, because you can't just like go get a job, like you can't just like
Hmm.
go in like this third world country. What I noticed was I started needing money, and as soon as I started needing money, and I go to the charts needing to make money that day, it completely fucked with my mindset. And I saw another little decline, and it really opened my eyes a lot. I was like, okay, well, I can't be trading in a form of need. I need it to be, I need to have, everything in order, and then being able to take trades. And I wasn't at the point where everything just kind of started crumbling down. Like Bitcoin was dropping.
Yeah.
My mom called me when I was in Costa, and my dog needed this leg surgery. So, and then I wasn't really planning on coming home back right away. So it was just a lot of things. It took us like 7 days to get home because the girl that I was with lost her passport on our layover back home. And it was just like a lot of shit, like just compiled into like 2 weeks of just like complete stress. And then in those 2 weeks, I saw a complete decline in my
Yeah.
trading. I'm like, okay, well, obviously my mind needs to be a little bit better.
Yeah. Well,
And then it's funny now. It's funny now. Sorry,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Oh, damn it, man. So sorry. No, I was just gonna say something like it's funny how your emotions can play such a heavy effect into you. Hey, like some of my biggest losses in some of the days, and like I'm not proud of it, but like I've lost like $5,000 over in like one trade in a day. We're building an account up to
Easily,
like
easily.
great numbers, and it's just you get all pissed off because you have one loss, and you're like, you know what, we're gonna go in even deeper this time, or for those people that don't know the terminology, it's increasing your lot size, and we're just gonna make that money back that I just lost there. And then next thing you know, the ball, it's like a snowball effect. It's going downhill, and you refuse to like
So bad.
take your position out, and it can be a toxic area, and that's why I don't recommend it for a lot of people, like because if you're not emotionally stable and sound, this is definitely not an area for you. If you are not comfortable with being uncomfortable, this is not an area for you. You have to be 100% dialed in, like emotionally. You have to be disciplined, and you have to be dedicated to and just trust the process of what's going on. For me, that was like the biggest hill to climb when I first started, was when I would hit that trade button and whatever, and it'd be like, holy shit, man, like I'm already $25 in the wrong direction right now. Like, what am I doing? And it's more of just keeping your nerves in check. I remember having to call you a couple of times and being like, hey, man, what do I do in this position? You're like, just relax. Like, just let it
Yeah.
do its thing. Trust your process. Trust your charts. Like, do you believe it's going to be coming this way? Why? Okay, you did your homework on it? Okay, sweet. So run with it. That was a big thing for me. But I also wanted to touch base on, because you went to Costa Rica there for a bit. And I was so jealous of you.
Oh
We
yeah.
were so jealous of you because I remember you called me one night and you're like, hey, you want to move to Costa Rica? And I'm like, I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, like I'm moving in 3 months. I'm like, 3 months? Like, what? I was like, what's going on here? And at that time, we actually, a couple months before that, we found out Kaylee was pregnant, if you remember that, hey?
I
And
do.
we were like so down for that, and we were like, oh yeah, like absolutely. And then that that ship arrived, and we're like, okay, I guess that's out of the question. So, but explain your like, why did you go to Costa Rica? What was there, and like, what did that trip do for you?
Yeah. So we have this community that we talked about, and I have people that brought me into this, that have been coaching me. It was people in business, people in trading, and there was four people in our group that were already living there. They had like quit their jobs. They had moved completely out there. I'm sorry, Tyler was out there for a year before I started thinking about it. And I just thought to myself, whenever I was in the bar industry, whenever I was in the car industry, any person that I was around, I started to become. And I really understood that because as soon as you get away from those people, you start seeing all the things that like you used to say or do or act, and it was exactly like them. So I knew that about myself, that I was I copied people's mannerisms that I respected. Like people that if I
Hmm.
respected you, I tried to be like you. And my problem is I was just respecting and following the wrong people. And then this community gave me those right people, and they were living in Costa Rica, trading, going to the beach every day. and it just like I just became obsessed with that idea of just like, okay, like this is what I want to do. I need to know what it feels like. Um, and then I had just I've been talking about it since I started. I remember because Tyler was there, and then after you had those consistent months, I'm like, fuck it, like let's just go. Like I'm doing this. I don't care. I don't care if we crash and burn or fail. I need to know what it feels like. Um, so the reason why I went there was because I wanted to learn from people that had a lot more experience than me, and I wanted to
Mhm.
like see how they operate. I wanted to see how they move, how they talk, how they ate, everything. I was just a sponge. I'm like I'm gonna copy everything you do. Um, and what it did for me, it just like it just opened up my eyes to a whole new world. Like I live in Edmonton. Like obviously I've traveled and I've gone to like different places, for a week, for 2 weeks, and you come back and you're depressed as fuck because you miss like that vacation or whatever. You got to go back to reality. I never had that where I was, stationed in one place and I'm like, okay, this is home, and I needed to feel what it's like, and it gave me like like I was able to like touch it. I was able to like smell it and taste it. And like once you have all those senses for something that you want, it's really hard to get that out of your head.
Yeah.
And because since I've been back, bro, that's all I've been thinking about, and I'm moving back here in like a month or so, um, with my
Wow.
dog this time. Um, but but yeah, it's just like it really just it hardens your dreams and your ideas and what you want. And yeah, like that's the reason why I went, and that's kind of what it did for me. Like I don't want to live here anymore, bro. Like
Yeah.
Edmonton. I'm sorry, but Edmonton fucking sucks.
Why do you think I bounced? I'm out outside of Toronto now, so I'm loving life out
Nice.
here, man. We're on 10 acres of land, and it's completely
Oof.
opposite to the city life of what we used to be. And
Exactly.
first, when we got here, it was definitely a huge transition, man. Not having the hustle and bustle and that energy of the city. Like I realized I wasn't used to peace and quiet, and like that's the
Yeah.
problem. Like
100%.
that's not okay. Like
Yo,
like when
dude.
it's peaceful and it's quiet, and you're not okay with that, you, you've kind of been. I guess I was just well groomed into that crazy hustle and bustle. So coming out here was like really good for me
100%.
just to like ground myself. Especially I started a new business with my real estate, starting a new business adventure and a whole new career path with the real estate, and that's like kicking off great out here. We're having a lot of
Okay.
success. My wife has started her job, her dream job,
Seeing
so things
that,
are just
killing
going
it.
like perfect right now. And so but like don't get me wrong, like the move and transition here was like it was like almost hell, man. It was brutal. We were
Wow.
losing stuff on our like moving trip. Like we ended up having to pack earlier than we needed to because we needed to be out of our unit at this time, and it was just. And then we also
Wow.
had a. How old was Havel at that time? Havel would have been just over a year. Like it was insane how much was going on there. Oh, and then we had our cats too, and like we didn't want to give them up, so we ended up finding them a good home that we could get back later. It was just a lot going on, but to carry back on to like what you said earlier is you end up becoming a product of like what you surround yourself by. And you know me, Sebi, I read a lot of different books, and a lot of them are like about motivation and self development and just kind of bettering yourself as an individual. And one of the quotes that I read that'll absolutely ever forever stick with me is, "If you show me your five friends, your five closest friends, I will show you your future." And that really hit me really deep because you are a product of what you absolutely surround yourself by. And like when I was just saying, since my move here to Toronto, I was I had a lot of really good old high school and childhood friends. Looking back on it now, um, they weren't going to do anything good for my future, and they're not in good places now. Some of them have done really well for themselves, whatnot, but the ones that I was kind of surrounded by were just not doing great things for themselves. I was actually living in at one point in time, I was renting a 6-bedroom house, and I had 4 roommates, all of which were just party animals. And that's when I had my company at that time. Things were going super successful and just doing great, but I was kept being held back a lot of the time because I was allowing them to influence me on what I was able to do. Like I felt like there was a lot of shutters around me, and I placed all of those on myself. So that was a big thing for me that like I ended up having to learn. And what's one book that you're reading right now that you absolutely love?
It's by Ed Milet.
Oh, I love
It's
Ed
called.
Milet.
Oh,
I love that man.
well, it's like this is my third time reading it. Because like yeah, I have to go back and read again. But The Power of One More. Um, it is
Nice.
like it is really really good. I like when people explain um the science behind your mind and why you think
Hmm.
certain ways, and really diving into that book has a lot of that. And just kind of just it just really breaks down your mind and why you do things, and why you should have habits and do all these great things. And um yeah, man, it's just every single day you read a little
Yeah.
bit.
I I'm gonna go pick up that book here probably this
Good
week
book.
after that for
Really good book.
sure. Another book I want to show you is you've probably already heard of it and seen it. You might have even read it because a lot of people have. Is the 48 Laws of Power.
No, I haven't read it yet.
Man, you want
Good.
to be a lethal weapon?
Good.
Learn, study this book.
Okay, I'll
It
get it.
it talks about power in a sense of a form of responsibility,
Wow.
and the 48 laws are different ways to assume power or gain power, and it can be a very dangerous book in the wrong hands, that's for sure. And it also tells you and teaches you how to manipulate your situations and others around you, but again,
Interesting.
can be a very good book or a very bad book. But one book that I definitely recommend this book for you. I think you would
Okay.
take a lot away from it. But then before you read that book, I would highly recommend you reading. It's called The Go Giver. I forget the author, but I'll send it to you after this session. But it's called The Go
Okay.
Giver, and my entire business model is actually structured off of that book. And it was my business model, my previous company, and even to right now, what I'm doing right here. And it's the whole extension of it is giving more than you are expected to receive.
Yep.
And
Nice.
that's where my one business proposition, whenever I'm dealing with anybody else, or if I help anybody else in like my professional realm or whatever, I always say there's two things: white glove service, no matter who the customer or client is, and under promise and over deliver every single time.
Yep.
So that's a big aspect that I ended up taking away from that book. That was
I love that.
huge for me. Yeah, yeah. So and it's a great way to like start building moral character. Like once I started actually changing my business direction into actually serving people instead of serving myself, man, I was having way more success, more clients walking through my door. I was shaking hands of a lot more highly established, more established people than I was. I was becoming more grateful. Things were just falling in line for me because of my simple mental, I guess, ideology. It was just a quick little switch, and everything just turned good for me. But yeah,
So
man.
sick, man.
Yeah. So now you're going to be going back to Costa Rica,
Yeah.
okay? And you said you're going to be going in what, a month? You said?
Yeah, well, so right now it's called high season there. So that's when like all the tourists come. It's like plus 40 out every day. Like it's so
Wow.
fucking nice right now. So like there's a lot of tourists going through right now, which means there's not really a lot of properties that are available. Um, because people rent them out, for people for a week, couple weeks, and they just kind of they make bank off of them in that time. But I had messaged like 5 or 6 people that I met out there that have rental properties, and they're all looking for me right now. So as soon as they're like, yeah, we have this place, then I'm gonna be booking a flight and just going. But I'm waiting to get that spot first, obviously before I go. But it could be in a couple weeks. It could be, middle of February, end of February. It's kind of looking like end of February
Okay.
because of just the time. But honestly, bro, if they call me today, I would pay for the month, and I would probably just like fly out in a couple weeks
Yeah.
and just have everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'd
Um,
get out of here as soon as possible.
you think you're going to be trading for the rest of your life? You think this is something that you're going to do
Yeah.
till you die? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love to see the passion in people and like their different niches and whatnot. And it's always interesting to see what makes them tick and everything like that. What opportunities do you think that this has given you, like trading in itself, like that you would never have had before? Obviously, going to Costa Rica, right? That's a
Yeah,
huge one that you probably wouldn't even have thought of beforehand.
yeah. No, very true. Like I think I think trading was like a very small part of it, to be very honest. I
Okay.
think more so what changed for me was just like I guess seeing what's possible, what's out there, um, like having people that have already done it and just kind of copying them and following them has been awesome. But um, but yeah, man, I think yeah. Sorry, sorry, I just kind of lost my train of thought there. What was the question again?
What opportunities has like trading given you as a whole?
Right, right. So it's like, yeah, trading has been great, but I think, going to, we were able to go to Houston and Miami and going meeting ridiculously big traders. I think it's more so just like being around people that do more than just trading, that have knowledge in real estate like yourself, other things like crypto and all these other niches um that have just introduced me to the people that are all about other niches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trading is great, but there's a lot of other ways to make money too, and I want to obviously dip into part of that. But it's also giving me a retirement plan, I guess. And
Yeah.
it was never even a thought. It was never even a thought that you could retire your parents or
Yeah.
it's and then now it's all possible, just by staying consistent and just keeping on going. So I think trading introduced me to the right people, and the right people have taught me how to think properly, and I think the thinking properly has really had more of effect on me than the trading itself.
Oh, nice. I like that. Damn, that was a great response, man.
So-
Damn. Sounding all biblical and shit over here. Gosh.
Sorry, man. Sorry, man. I was reading the Bible right before we did this, so.
That's so funny. Do you have any mentors that have like helped you go through all your way, or like you just self-made
Yeah.
man?
Fuck no. I don't think anybody is truly self-made.
No.
I've had so many people help me throughout this whole thing. And just willing to help me, and it's there's probably five people that have just been there and still are, to this day, that just always check up on me and help me through things. And yeah, man, it's an absolute necessity, for those down days, for those low moments, because they are going to come no matter what you're doing, whether it's trading or building another business or
Yeah.
whatever the hell it is. It's really nice to have a phone number of somebody that you can just call and just, explain to them what's going on, and they've already been through it and they could just kind of walk you through it.
Yeah.
Just putting yourself fucking 10 years ahead just by making one phone call, it's so important.
No, that's absolutely vital, man. Like that's a big, big aspect. Like actually in a portion no, it wasn't this book, it was a previous book I read. It was, what was it called? I forget which book it was from, but um it was talking about this billionaire, and he's kind of a bit of a secret billionaire, but he's from the UK, and he's being interviewed, and they said like, "Have you mentored any people?" And he's like, "Oh, I've only mentored two people my entire life." And they're like, "Oh, because it's obviously so hard to get access to you." And he's like, "No." He's like because those are the only two people that have asked me.
Yeah,
Like
facts.
asking for that help is like such a key thing, and like I'm still learning that in my life. That's something I really need to learn in my life and my business, is asking for help. Thankfully, I have a really good mentor in my life. He was actually our previous guest on this podcast, Roberto
Yep.
Alas. Shout out to him. Love you, brother. But like, for example, too, where I'm trying to go with this is my little brother. He's 15 now. He's starting to become a little bit of a
Oh wow.
man, you know.
Yeah.
He's no longer this chubby little kid. He has a six pack and he's taller than me. So he pretty soon he's going to be whooping my ass. But
Yeah.
he was talking about business, and he's like, you've had your entire life as a bit of an entrepreneur, and like, you know, he wants to be a bit of a robotics engineer and whatnot and start something about his own
Sick.
firm or whatnot. I'm like,
Unreal.
all the power to you, man. Like, that's insane. I am
Wow.
not interested in that at all, but like,
Yeah.
that is your thing. Like, let it kill you. I'm a firm
Yeah.
believer in like find what you love and let it kill you.
Yeah.
But then he said, he's like, do you have any advice for me getting into business? And I was like, the number one thing that I can give you is find a mentor, and find a mentor that will kick your ass. Seriously, that will hold you accountable to your word, that will make you push past your limits, make you explore your boundaries and get past those boundaries and outside of your comfort zone. Like I said, like my mentor does that for me. He holds me accountable. Like I had a bit of a timeline for setting this whole project up for the BPM podcast, which we're still working with. And, you know, as you know, we've been trying to have you on here for the last couple of weeks, but things were just getting crazy.
It was my fault. It was all my fault, by the way.
But we're still learning here, right? At Bray Melnychuk Realty, we're still learning here, and lots of things are going on. But I had a set deadline where I wanted things, and he gives me a call a couple days before, and he's like, so like, where are you at on that? And I'm like, well, I'm not 100% there, but like, it's he's like, no, that's unacceptable. He's like, you made a promise to yourself. He's like, you can break a promise to other people. Like, he's like, whatever. But he's like, if you break a promise to yourself, it shows you're a weak man. And like, that really stuck with me. So like, that's a big thing, is finding a mentor in my life. And that's like absolutely critically changed my direction and my success. So, and if you can learn the mistakes from somebody else, like, why not? Instead of committing them all yourself, learn them from somebody else.
Yeah, man.
You know, so Where do you see crypto going in the future? Because things are getting a little weird now.
I know it's getting nice. I'm actually getting really excited.
Me too.
I'm still a strong believer. Like, obviously, I think everyone's had a negative year on crypto. You know, took it on a loss, but
I took one to the chin this year, man. I took one to the chin this year.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. And it all happened at once. Like I was telling you,
yeah.
Like, my dog needed shit, getting home. Like, it was literally within 2 weeks. It was like, fuck. But it really taught me a lot. I think that there's a really big niche for crypto. I think crypto destroys a lot of the banks right now. And, you know, I've just, you know, you hear all these stories of people just trying to take money out, like whether it's over like $100,000 and it takes like 2 weeks for them to get it. You have to fill out paperwork, or if you want to send money across the world, you know, like you have to do all this shit. It takes forever. Crypto just really, like, and it's not so much crypto. I mean, it's more so the blockchain.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin and Ethereum are really good for that. There's a lot of utility for those, and it just makes it easier for people to send money. I think that it's gonna go to the fucking moon. But before it goes to the absolute moon, it's gonna fucking drop really hard. It's gonna scare everybody even more than it already has. And in those fear moments is what my mentor told me, is that when everyone's fearful, be greedy, and when everyone's greedy, be fearful.
Yeah.
So
I've heard that
when everyone's really scared, that's when you should be putting your money in. And I'm still waiting for that. You know, we have obviously, you know, money put aside, and just ready to go and die, and just ready to pull the trigger whenever you know, you feel comfortable, and everyone's freaking out. But yeah, man, I think it's going to make a lot of millionaires in the next like 3-4 years.
Yeah, I think we're going to see in the next 5 years, we're going to see a huge influx of millionaires, especially within like UK, North America. Like, like, look at what's happening in El Salvador, man. Like, they're completely changing over to Bitcoin and Ethereum over there, right? Everything's cryptocurrencies. The Netherlands, they're heavily crypto. There's Crypto City in the Netherlands. There's all over the world starting to adopt it, and I think in North America we're being quite closed-minded on what's going on with it. Like, for example, I know why people are so fearful. Look what just hit the news, like a month ago? FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. What was going on there, right? Yeah. But this is the thing, like it's just like any other investments. When you're putting your money into a place, you gotta do your damn homework, man. You know, like I would have never, I never put a single penny into FTX or even close to Sam Bankman-Fried. I did a little bit of research on this guy, and I found out he's a clown. Immediately, right away, I knew this guy was a clown. Like if you looked at his Twitter and whatnot, like this guy might like. They what did they call? They called them cocktail parties. Him and his like CFO or whatever, the woman from Alameda, which is his girlfriend. She ended up defrauding like $10 billion between FTX and Alameda, you know, and like both of them were actively showing on social media that they have these drug cocktails all the time that they go on about, and yet they're managing like a $50 billion company at the same time.
Crazy.
Like, come on, man. Like, you know, that wasn't even in-depth research that I did, and I've right away that raised some red flags for me, you know. So, but I think that's another thing where a lot of people are going to be pointing fingers at right now, which is unfortunate for the crypto and the trading community right now, is FTX. It's just but there's still other competitors out there that are doing such great things right now. Unfortunately, Binance is not doing great things out here in Ontario, which I found out the hard way when I went to go access my account as soon as I moved. And I had to get a VPN because all of Ontario doesn't support crypto, which is like really messed up. I didn't know that.
That's wild.
So, but it's just educating yourself and like not putting your money blindly. Like crypto is an easy way to kind of become a scapegoat for being like, look at Ethereum and Bitcoin crashed in 7% in the last 24 hours. You never see that in the stock market, blah, 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 all these other things. But I don't know. It's a valuable asset to me and my finances and my career. So after, in about a month time, you'll be going away to Costa Rica.
Yes, sir.
Will we ever be seeing Sebi come back to Canada?
Yeah, of course. Like I have to come back here. Like mom, dad's here. You know, I have a Canadian company now, so like, I have to come back, right? But it'll be for like short periods of time.
So how's that going to be managing your company? Because I know you just started another company here. How's that going to be managing that overseas?
Oh, it's easy. Yeah, it's everything. Everything's online already right now.
Yeah.
And it's just being online, just having Wi-Fi, and it's nice because Costa Rica and Canada are the same time zone. It's always like an hour off, depending on when the year is. But most of the time, it's pretty synced up, so it's pretty easy to just have the same schedule and then just still run the company. Like I've hired an assistant here that starts on February 1st. So just going to be training her on how to do a lot of the things too, and just so I could kind of, take some hands off and just, enjoy some weather a little bit. But then the only tricky part about that is my accountant and how it's all like paper. I can't like do it online just yet. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. So we'll see how it goes for the first time. Like I'll probably just get my mom to do it, like leave all my papers here or something. But we'll see how that goes. Like maybe I'll just find something else where it's all digital. But yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny is my whole time that I had Diablo's Den, I never met my accountant once.
Oh, really?
Everything was online.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Because like that's what I thought too. I was just like, I was talking to her. I'm like, yeah. So like when I leave, like, how's this gonna work? Like, oh yeah, you gotta find somebody to do it. And I was right away. I was just like, You're
stuck in 1995, buddy.
That's a problem. Yeah. So like, so I don't know. Like, well, but this account was recommended to me by a friend. So I'm just I'll just see how it goes. Like I'm not really too concerned. I think it's just more of a hassle. But
beauty.
No.
Well, Sebastian, I'm so excited to see what goes on with you, my man. You're one of my good friends, good homies. And like I said, you're the one who got me into trading and into crypto and actually educating myself financially. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the BPM podcast. We all love you here and adore you and everything. And we're so excited to see what you keep doing in the future, the great adventures you have, the success and everything. So with that, I just want to thank you for your time and thank you for being here, my man.
Thank you, bro. And just to kind of throw it back, bro, you're doing incredible things too. I really appreciate it. And watching
Thank
you
you.
grow is so sick.
Yeah, thank you so
Dude,
much, man.
when you text me your success, bro, I think I told you this already, but I jumped up out of bed and I was like, yes! I was like screaming for you, and you weren't even near me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I had to tell you, I had to when we hit that number, because I had that
Oh,
number written down on my board, and when we hit that number, I was like, holy shit, we did it, man! Like we actually did it. So, but
fired up. Proud of
yeah,
you.
thank you, man. We love you so much, Sebi, and hopefully we get to have you back on here again in the
Yes,
future.
sir.
Maybe we'll do one in Costa Rica. That would be pretty cool. Hey.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, seeing the beach and Mai Tais and stuff like that in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. So, but awesome. Okay, thank you so much for coming, Seb. We'll take
All
care.
right, brother.
See you guys back in 2 weeks. We will be back with another special guest. The next special guest that we have on next week, I'm actually really excited to share with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned on all my social media platforms, and we'll hit you back. Take care, guys.
Cheers.